Can you have 4 Caique parrots together at the same time? Hi, I'm Kaylin, the author of The Parrot Bliss Bond, your handbook to help you have lots of bliss with your parrot, at least to set you up to be successful to do so. Today we're talking about Caiques. Caiques are really interesting because they're apparently somewhat misunderstood. I keep hearing that they turn bitey. It hasn't been my experience, but anyway, so Caiques are like really, I think, interesting. I think people are interested in them and at the same time, almost a little afraid of them. So can you put 4 together? As you could see, easily you could put 2 together. Now, someone wrote and they said that they have 2 young males and they want to get 2 young females and put all 4 together. Now, one of the rules that we need to be aware of here is the ages. If the Caiques are young, that's not going to be a problem. When you give a parrot, an adult parrot, a young parrot, that doesn't always bode so well. So that's one thing to be careful of. The next thing is how you introduce them. So the person writing has 2 Caiques that are each 7, 8 months, something like that, and they're going to get young ones. So, what I would try to do is I would actually try to get some from this season if possible so that they're closer in age if possible. When you introduce them slowly, because I think the 2 males are going to already know each other and the 2 females are already going to know each other, then you just have to really keep your eye, of course, on your parrots as the 4 get introduced and see that they get along. Caiques can be pretty aggressive, and so I do think it's important to keep an eye on them. For example, these 2, the male, Ketsi, I'm going to make sure he doesn't go over to the other room where my yellow nape is because he likes to intimidate her. And my yellow nape can't fly, so she gets intimidated. Now, another rule, if your Caiques have a nest box like my guys do, because they really like sleeping in a nest box, and I'm okay if they want to have babies, they have not wanted to have babies, I'm okay with them not having babies. But if they have a nest box, you start to lose the ability to put 2 males together. Maybe even 2 females too, because they will start to fight. Look at him, he's flying around. Oh, what you doing? Where'd you go? Are you going to go in someone else's cage, huh? What are you doing? So, if you have 4 together, unfortunately, your ability to give them a place to sleep kind of gets limited. It doesn't matter if it's a cozy. I don't think that'll make a difference. When you've got the hormones going and competition going, it's just not going to work out. So, that means that you either have to divide them, separate either the males and the females or one pair and one pair, or they can't have a sleep box. I really feel like Caiques do well with having a sleep box. That's theirs. They really like to go in. They go in during the day to take their nap often. They certainly go in at night. There are some parrots, like the Conure family, that tend to really like a place to sleep at night. And that, it's not something you have to have, but it's something that I feel adds to their sense of safety and security. It gives them a basic need for a place where they can really sleep, rest at night, where they feel safe, where it's all their own, that kind of thing. So I do think that's important. So if I was, when we had 2 Caiques and we were adding 2 more, you want to step up? Hi, sweetie. We had all 4 together. We didn't have a nest box when they were young. And they did just fine. As they got older, I started to separate them and give them their own nest box. They like being together. I tried putting all 4 back together, and I actually put them in our walk-in aviary. And that worked fine. I wasn't super enchanted, and I didn't like the fact that they didn't have their nest box. It's important. It's a priority for me. Now, if you're putting 4 Caiques in a bigger cage, because one problem is cages aren't really made really big enough for a parrot. The cage size that gets recommended is never really big enough for them to really be able to flutter their wings and get around. So I'm kind of measuring, Ketsy's head with my fingers. And I'm gonna say that 2 fingers is probably about the width of his head. Can I see Kets? I know, it's kind of odd, huh? Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the cage and see if they would fit. So the problem with cages is, like I was saying, most of them are really too small for a bird's wingspan to go 3 times in width, 2 times in depth, and 2 times in height. And when you have a second parrot, you need more space. When you have a third parrot, you need more space. Now we have a photo bomber. So that becomes a challenge. The idea of putting them in a large macaw parrot cage is a good idea. This is one of those that's taller than me. I could get in it. But the problem is, look at how my fingers fit through. And I think that, I think that's a pretty good measure. In other words, if a Caique's skull was a little smaller, it could get it in, or they could wiggle it in, and they could get stuck. And now my nails are their head, and the rest of my palm is their body. And now they're wiggling around, and they're in a really dangerous situation, and they can hurt themselves quite seriously. So that's the problem with putting them in a pre-made macaw cage. It doesn't really suit their requirements because the bars are too far apart. So that's kind of a challenge, because that means that while this cage really would give them the physical space, it doesn't provide a guarantee on their safety and security. Okay, look at that. Plus the nest box gives them something to bite at. They bite at the inside. So when I had all 4 Caiques together, we tried different things. I put them in different cages. I tried a double flight cage, and that wasn't bad. The bars were closer together, and it didn't give them like the total space I would like. It wasn't bad, but now I have them in 2s, and that way I don't have to worry so much about having as much space. They're in a cage. I don't even know what it measures. What is it? It might be 40 inches wide and like 2+ feet deep, and way more than that, more than 40 inches tall. So they have plenty of space, and I can actually probably put all 4 in. I don't think that would be too bad. It's a little, it feels a little uncomfortable for me with all 4. It would be a little too tight. You could kind of see their cage right there. Let me see if I can back up. There's their cage. But you like I said, you just have to be careful. Now, when they're young and before they are sexually mature, which is sexual maturity for a Caique parrot is between 3 and 5 years, and of course these are white-bellied Caiques. And there's their friend, Ursulus, my Mexican redheaded photo bomber. When they're not sexually mature, having all 4 together without a nest box, I don't think is a problem. But as they get sexually mature, it becomes a problem. And, I think sexual maturity probably starts at 3. It doesn't mean they're really ready to reproduce, but it means that you might start to have competition and stuff like that. So I think it would be short. And so if I was going to have all 4, then I would definitely either have a really nice big cage, or I would divide them. Now, like a really nice big aviary would be fine. And even with a really big, nice aviary, for example, I have a walk-in. I can't get the walk-in to show you. Even with a really nice big aviary like that, you still can't give them a nest box. Open door policy. It means that sometimes they go in other people's cages. So I think it's awesome having 4. I would recommend it. But I'd say be prepared to have 2 cages just in case you need to pair them up. And I would not really consider, unless there's extenuating circumstances like one's injured or something like that, I wouldn't consider having just 1 in a cage. I would always have 2. They love companionship. They're so social. They're so playful. I think I would easily say they're like some of my most playful parrots. All right, thank you for joining me in this blissful video about Caique parrots. If you have any questions about parrots, I love hearing your questions. Please show me some love. Oh, hi. That was perfect timing. Like the video, comment, and make sure that you set your preferences so that YouTube lets you know when we have a video. 99.9% of the time tomorrow. See you next time.